Most of what I learned about doing music for TV, I learned when I was on TV. I don't think what I learned prior to that had that much to do with it, other than feeling very comfortable leading a band and knowing how to make a band feel comfortable, which turns out to be really important, in a TV show. Um, but as far as actually using that directly for the TV and background music and this and that and the other. I think I learned all of that. Pretty much all of that happened while I was on the show, um, and that was a learning process. That whole thing, so I don't think things that happened before then. The one thing that I do feel that you know had a big significance in the way I approached that, because I was wondering, like, what makes me comfortable at this job? Because I mean, other than, watching TV and remembering theme songs like The Twilight Zone was one of my favorite shows, and, like I said before, Mission Impossible, stuff like that. And I started seeing, connecting a few dots, but nothing really significant. But the fact that my parents instilled a certain kind of discipline in me and about doing a good job with what's in front of you, whatever it is. And so it said, okay, well, this is something we have to learn, and we really have to figure this out. So I started approaching it a little bit different. I started saying, well, what is it that I don't know? Okay, everything. We don't know anything about this. So I started really looking at things and trying to figure it out the way my dad would kind of figure it out. And my mom would always say, well, every day you got to do music. I mean, that's what you do. So every day I would try and figure out how we could do something different musically, how it would affect this. And then I'd see how many, it just kind of took that on. I think that helped me adjust more than anything. Because musically, it wasn't that much of a challenge musically to adjust, because I was always interested in all kinds of music. I started off playing rock and roll music and R&B music growing up in Philadelphia and everything. So being open-minded about the music, I had no problem with that. It was just where to put it and how to do it in almost like sound bites and have it still be effective. And how could you add to the show? First of all, what is your job description? And it took me years to figure that out. And how do you take what you know and support what it is that you're asked to do without, you remembering that you're in your room practicing, learning how to play, how to solo and how to improvise and how to play all these chords and everything. So, well, maybe that, you can't really just throw that on. It just doesn't fit, So how do we be effective doing it? So it took me a while to kind of suss all of that out in the whole thing, and so, well, how do you play behind a comedian? What do you do? And so, okay, we're going to how do we, we only get these few moments, but we have a lot of these moments throughout the show. So how do we, in a general sense, become a part of the show and pull your weight and be effective and help with everything, how can you matter in this situation? So it took a while to kind of get comfortable in the whole thing and blah blah. So I don't think musically what happened before television was as important as some of the other things. Of course, Leanne Rhymes comes on and says, oh, you need to do an arrangement for that. Of course, knowing how to do arrangements comes in handy. But that wasn't the part that was an unknown. I had no problem. I was very confident about doing that and writing music and arranging music and the whole thing. That we done for a long time. But to do it here in this situation, how do you do it? She'll be here at, noon, and you have 10:30 today to do it and to block it and to do the whole thing, So all of that was a learning curve, how we organize that, how we do this, how we do, and it turns out it was just about becoming comfortable. That's the most important thing, was once I was comfortable with everybody, the stage manager, the camera crew, the sound people, the whole thing. Once that became just part of the environment, once it was like, hey, what's going on, man? What's happening? You know, and everything, and blah, blah. And once I got comfortable, everything just felt normal, and I just felt like, wow, I feel really comfortable here, and then everything else just kind of fell into place.